Hello and welcome to another Modswell video. I'm your host Maxwell. Today I'm doing a subscriber request and showcasing Storm of Steel, specifically the Ultimate Edition. To get a video made on a mod that you're curious about, remember to subscribe and leave a comment. Alternatively, come and join us over on the Discord server. You'll find a link to that in the description below. But on to the mod. Storm of Steel is a combat mod that seeks to speed up combat but also make it that bit more difficult. It makes combat faster by utilising mechanics that make resource management paramount to each and every battle. This affects not only your character, but enemy combatants as well. It does this by creating the posture system. This makes it so that combat is dependent on two things. The first being your stamina, which now has 3 stages. Full stamina will have you energized, which allows you to do more damage and block more effectively. This becomes less effective as your stamina drains until eventually you're out, which leads to slow movement and weapon speed, but also leaves you open to taking more damage as well as being staggered more easily. The second thing that combat is dependent on is health. Yes, obviously of course, but now it means something else on top of the usual. Health dictates how much damage you can deal with both magic and your weapons, but inversely to how stamina works, health being lower will allow you to cause more damage, giving you a final stand in the fights you're in. Essentially, having low health and high stamina will allow you to cause the most possible damage. Storm of Steel puts a huge emphasis on resource management, with a heavy focus on stamina which now drains with attacking moves, but also drains when you successfully block, negating damage to your health bar in favour of the stamina bar instead. Luckily, it also increases the regeneration of stamina too, as long as you're out of combat. This makes it so that disengaging an enemy is often the right choice, finding cover to gain stamina back and then re-engaging in the fight. But remember, the NPCs are also affected in all the same ways, so if you think that you have more stamina, sometimes staying for the extra hit is crucial for victory, as leaving them to regen yourself will allow them to do exactly the same thing. But here's where I think that Storm of Steel does better than other mods similar to it. The way it balances the classes with regen rate of magicka being increased coupled with the new resource management for warriors or archers, basically meaning that weapon-based characters need to treat stamina like a mage would magicka. Due to these new edits, bows have been somewhat relegated to an entry weapon as opposed to an overpowered dungeon clearer. This has changed how I approach combat and made me do things like bring up a summon to assist from the start of battle, then switching back to melee to continue the fight. When I'm out of stamina, I retreat and then use another summon before re-engaging. This feels like a classic RPG style or even slightly MMO with managing cooldowns to gain the most effective combat strategy. Storm of Steel is a mod that is designed to run with other mods that change combat mechanics, as this focuses largely on stamina management and tactical approaches. I happen to be running it alongside Smilodon, which does have a bunch of similar features based on stamina, but also includes some health based mechanics that cause staggering, time blocking, better combat AI and attacks of opportunity. The reason I like this partnership, or even pairing it with Wildcat instead for the injuries on top of all that, is simply how fast it makes combat and how satisfying it is to utilise the mechanics for a clean run of a bandit camp or dungeon. I also highly advise running this alongside your favourite dodge mod, such as Ultimate Dodge mod to utilise new routes and combat styles, attempting to find a slot in behind the enemy to take advantage of attacks of opportunity. For those of you who don't want your game to be too much harder, this can be run alone and still give you a really fun experience. Or for the players after a little bit more spice than that, it does pair really nicely with better combat AI to create vanilla plus feature rich combat without going overboard. Being as lightly scripted as it is, you'll find this mod will slot in very easily without causing any troubles. I mostly say that for people worried they're near the tipping point. This will not be the reason you go over. Storm is an extremely versatile mod and has little to no compatibility issues as well. On top of all of that, the minuscule cost of 446 kilobytes means it can find a place in any order quite comfortably. Just be sure to slot it in underneath your favourite combat mods in the combat AI section, and remember to leave a comment with your setup because I'm always curious to see what you've come up with. But on that I am going to end. If this has been helpful, I would really appreciate those likes, comments and of course subscriptions. They let me know that you want more content like this. I've also left links to both the ultimate and watered down edition of the mod in the description below. I will be releasing another Fallout 4 video on Saturday, so do keep your eyes peeled for that. Otherwise, thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.